I rise to try and inject some reality into this conversation. The bill that is before us apparently is promoting this notion that somehow determining what an insurance company should charge based on their exposure to risk is unacceptable because it has to do with the discrimination of dog breeds. Frankly, that's an absurd notion in my view. I try and live in reality. The fact of the matter is that as much as we all love dogs, and I'm a dog lover just like I'm sure everyone else in this room, and I've had many different breeds of dogs over the years, all dogs are not created equal. Some dogs are much more inclined to bite than others, and some dogs are inclined to do more damage when they bite than others. We've been debating this exact topic in this legislature for as long as I can remember. In fact, I used to be the ranking member of the insurance committee, and I remember one time having a public hearing on this, and I remember someone testifying that the most vicious dog that they had ever witnessed was a Bichon Frise. And I laughed because it doesn't matter if your Bichon Frise is vicious. It can't take your leg off. But a Rottweiler or a Pit Bull certainly can. And there are statistics to back this up. I'll get into that in just a minute, but what I want people to realize what is happening here is that if this bill passes, what you are doing is effectively telling every person that you represent back home in your district that you want to see their homeowners insurance increase dramatically if they don't have a dog or don't have a dangerous breed of dog, so that they can pick up the premium for someone that does. That's what this bill is about. What you should know is that approximately 30% of all insurance premiums on property insurance, I'm talking about residential homeowners property insurance, is a result of payment on claims for dog breeds. Let's do a little bit of math, folks. If you go ahead and you say to the insurance company they can no longer restrict these breeds or charge additional premium for these breeds, they're going to have to take 30% of that premium that they're charging, and they're going to have to distribute it. Yes, socialism. They're going to distribute it among the other people paying that insurance premium. I don't have a dog currently. I had a dog, but it wasn't a dangerous breed. And I don't want to pay for someone else who wants to have a dangerous breed of dog. It's just like insurance companies charge more for cars that go faster, right? We don't seem to have a problem with that. Is that discrimination that someone has a Corvette and they should pay more insurance? I think that people choose to have a Corvette do that, recognize they might have to pay more insurance because the risk is exponentially more. If they buy a more expensive car and it costs more to repair, people understand they have to pay more insurance for that. Well, when you get a dog as a grown-up, as an adult, and you choose to have a dog in your life, you're making a choice to create an exposure to risk. You should be the one paying that premium. You should not be asking your neighbors who do not have that dog that exposes the risk to pay for it. Just a few statistics. The CDC reported there were 468 deaths due to dog encounters between 2011 and 2021. That's out of 4.5 million dog bites a year. I want to get to the 81% of dog bites are minor, but 65, this is what's interesting, 65.6% of all fatal dog attacks are by one breed, pit bulls. So let me ask you, should somebody who has a very docile, small dog or no dog at all have to pay for the fact that their neighbor has a pit bull, which is responsible for 65.6% of fatal dog attacks? And I understand what the proponents of this legislation think. They're like, well, you can't judge a dog by its breed. Well, maybe that's true. Maybe not every pit bull is likely to bite someone or a Rottweiler, et cetera, but there are statistics. There is data to say 65% of all dog bites are from that one breed of dog. To suggest that somehow that's not a reality and that something should not be taken into consideration because it's discrimination is absurd. Rottweilers, 10.4% of attacks. Anyway, I didn't have time to come up with a whole lot of statistics. Anyone in this room can take 10 seconds, though, between now and the vote on this bill, and just look up dog bites by breed. You'll come up with 10 responses right away, and you can look at the list of breeds and how much their percentage of dog bites is per year, and you'll see there are a number of notorious breeds that ultimately result in the majority of dog bites, and as I said, 30% of insurance payouts in claims, 30% is a direct result of those dog bites from those dog breeds. You will be voting, if you vote in favor of this bill, to make your constituents who do not have dogs or do not have dogs of those more dangerous breeds pay for the ones that do. I don't want to do that. I think the people that have those dogs, more power to them if they want to have those dogs, but they should pay for the exposure and the risk, not everybody else. Thank you.